Welcome back to Secret Screen Stories, your home for the most unexpected and captivating hidden references and background stories of your favorite shows. Today's video is about one of the greatest movie adaptations ever, The Lord of the Rings.
It began with the forging of the Great Rings. 3 were given to the Elves, immortal. 7 to the Dwarf Lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. 9 rings were gifted to the race of men, who above all else desire power.
Peter Jackson, the genius behind the movies, made some big changes to bring that epic tale to life on screen. Instead of sticking to the book word for word, he tweaked a lot of things to make the movies more exciting and easier to follow. And today, we're going to show you the top 20 hidden details and scenes that are deleted from the books in Lord of the Rings. So watch the video till the end to know about these epic scenes and interesting details that were left out of the movies. Alright, first thing that was deleted from the books was... Number 1. Tom Bombadil's character. This is one of the more controversial cuts from the Lord of the Rings movies. Tom Bombadil is a super cool character from the books. He's pretty mysterious and has this strange power where the One Ring doesn't affect him at all. Fans really loved him, but Peter Jackson decided to leave him out of the movies. Why? Well, even book fans aren't really sure who Tom is or why the ring doesn't mess with him. Plus, it would have made Frodo's quest a bit confusing. Like, why not just give the ring to Tom? So, leaving Tom out helped keep the story focused and flowing. Alright, the second thing you need to know is about the... Number 2. Barrow Downs and the Barrow Wights. In the books, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin get stuck in a creepy place called the Barrow Downs. They end up captured by these spooky ghosts called Barrow Wights. But don't worry, Tom Bombadil swoops in to save them. This whole scene adds to the world building, but also drags the story a bit. Imagine random ghosts popping up in the movies. It'd be super confusing, especially with how the Nazgul look under their cloaks. So Peter Jackson left this part out to keep things clear and exciting. Next up, let's talk about Frodo's dramatic ride to Rivendell. Number 3. Arwen's heroic ride. In the movies, we see the awesome Arwen bravely taking Frodo to safety. But in the books, this job went to an elf named Glorfindel. He's a great character, but he only shows up this one time, which doesn't do much for the story. Giving this role to Arwen made the movie flow better and gave her more to do besides being just a love interest. Plus, it added some epic action scenes. Now, let's get into Aragorn's character. Number 4. Aragorns Transformation. In the books, Aragorn is all about his royal heritage and is confidently marching towards Minas Tirith to claim his throne as King of Gondor. But in the movies, he's a bit different. He's more humble and hesitant, worried about repeating his ancestors' mistakes. This change made Aragorn more relatable and gave the audience a chance to connect with his inner struggles. It turned out to be a fantastic way to develop his character on screen. Next up, let's talk about Thorens Company. Number 5. Thorens Company. Remember the dwarves who went with Bilbo and Gandalf to reclaim the Lonely Mountain? In the Lord of the Rings books, we get updates on what they've been up to. Even Bombur gets a mention. He's so heavy that a bunch of dwarves have to help him get out of bed. But since the Hobbit movies came later, these fun references were cut from the Lord of the Rings movies. Instead, we get small nods to Bilbo's earlier adventure. The next deleted detail is about Anduril, the reforged sword of Narsil. Number 6. Anduril, the reforged blade.
From the shadow shall spring. Renewed shall be blade that was broken.
Now, this blade is a big deal because it's the sword that defeated Sauron. In the books, Aragorn gets this sword early on, in the Fellowship of the Ring, which fits his confident, kingly personality. But in the movies, he doesn't receive it until Return of the King. This change makes his journey towards accepting his destiny even more epic and symbolic. Plus, it looked super cool on screen. The next change involves our hero Frodo. Number 7. Frodo's Wisdom. In the books, Frodo sometimes comes across as strangely wise and knowledgeable, even though he's never left the Shire. This could be a bit confusing and made the dialogue feel a bit stiff. So the movies changed this to make Frodo more of a clever, yet naive young hobbit. This way, his wisdom mostly comes from the older characters like Gandalf, making his character more relatable and his journey more believable. The next thing you want to know about is Gandalf's solo ride. Number 8. Gandalf riding alone. In the movies, Gandalf arrives in the Shire on a carriage and shares a friendly ride with Frodo before reaching Bag End.
It's wonderful to see you, Gandalf!
But in the books, Gandalf travels alone the whole way. Frodo and Gandalf don't actually meet up until Bilbo's birthday party. This small change was probably made to help show the strong bond between Frodo and Gandalf right from the start. It makes their friendship clear and sets the stage for their adventure together. Now, let's talk about that awesome dragon firework. Number 9. The Dragon Firework.
Pause for 1,000 years.
In the movies, we see Merry and Pippin setting it off and causing a bit of chaos, showing off their mischievous sides. But in the books, Gandalf is the one who launches the dragon firework on purpose, creating a spectacular show. Changing this for the movie gave us a fun moment with Merry and Pippin, highlighting their playful nature and adding a bit of humor to the scene. Next up, it's Bilbo's magical disappearing act at his birthday party. Number 10. The Flashing Disappearance. In the movies, Bilbo puts on the One Ring during his speech and vanishes, leaving everyone, including Gandalf, in shock. But in the books, Gandalf is more prepared. He creates a flash of light to make it seem like Bilbo performed a cool trick, keeping people from gossiping too much. This change in the movies adds a bit of mystery and shows the ring's power in a more dramatic way, making the audience feel the tension and wonder about the ring's true nature. Alright, the next thing you need to know is about Frodo and Sam's encounter with the Wood Elves. Number 11. Talking to the Wood Elves.
Wood Elves. They're going to the harbor beyond the White Towers.
In the books, our heroes meet some Wood Elves during their journey. They get invited to share some food and warmth around a fire, having a nice chat with these mystical beings. But in the movies, this entire scene got the chop. You only get a tiny glimpse of the Wood Elves in the extended edition, and that's it. It's a shame, because this moment added a bit more depth and magic to their journey. Now, let's talk about Bree. Number 12. Homie Bree. In the movies, Bree is a dark, grimy place filled with strange and suspicious characters. But in the books, it's a whole different vibe. The hobbits arrive in Bree during the day, and it's not even raining. The Prancing Pony is a cozy, welcoming inn, not the shady spot that we see in the films. This change made Bree feel more dangerous and mysterious in the movies, but it's a big shift from the homey feel in the books. Next up is Bilbo's role at the Council of Elrond. Number 13. Bilbo at the Council.
Strangers from distant lands, friends of old, you've been summoned here to answer the threat of Mordor.
In the books, Bilbo is right there at the council meeting, since he was the only one who had the ring at the start. He even offers to take the ring to Mordor himself, but Gandalf gently tells him his time has passed. However, in the movies, Bilbo doesn't attend the council at all. Frodo is the only hobbit present in the film version. This change is a bit odd, because hearing more from Bilbo would have added another interesting perspective to the discussion.
Isildur's playing.
Next up, let's talk about the journey through Caradhras. Number 14. The Magic of Kararas. In both the books and the movies, the Fellowship faces a tough time crossing the Misty Mountains. But here's the twist. In the movies, Saruman is the one casting a dark spell to force them into the mines of Moria. In the books, it's hinted that the mountains themselves might be causing the storm. Removing the magical element of the mountains in the movies made things simpler and less confusing for viewers. But it sure added a mysterious vibe in the books. Now, let's meet another Ent. Number 15. Quick Beam.
No, we only just finished.
In the movies, we only get to know Treebeard by name, but in the books, there are more Ents, including one called Quickbeam. Merry and Pippin even ride on Quickbeam, who is eager to go to war against Isengard, just like the hobbits. This was a fun detail, but it did take away from the main story a bit, so cutting Quickbeam made sense to keep the focus tight in the movies. Our next change involves Saruman in Fangorn Forest. Number 16. Saruman and Fangorn.
Show yourself!
In the books, there's a mysterious scene where Saruman is seen walking through Fangorn, though it's not clear why. The movies, however, skip this entirely. In fact, Saruman outright refuses to go near Fangorn in the films. According to Treebeard, it's been ages since Saruman last walked through those woods. Including a random Saruman cameo at that point would have felt out of place in the movies, so leaving it out kept the story streamlined. The next thing you need to know is about Elrond's attitude towards Aragorn and Arwen's relationship. Number 17. Elrond's Approval. In the books, Elrond didn't have much of an issue with them being together. His only condition was that Aragorn had to become the king of both Gondor and Arnor for Arwen to stay in Middle-earth. However, in the movies, Elrond is portrayed differently. He comes across as a loving but disapproving father who's deeply worried about losing his daughter. This change made Elrond more relatable and human, adding emotional depth to his character and the overall story. Moving forward, the next deleted scene is about Sam's missing line about the Haradrim. Number 18. Sam's line about the Haradrim. In the original story, when Sam and Frodo first see the Mumakil, it's a big deal. Things get pretty tense when they're caught in an ambush by Ithilien rangers and witness the death of a Haradrim soldier. In the books, Sam makes a poignant comment about the fallen enemy's humanity, showing his kind-hearted nature. But in the movies, this line goes to Faramir instead. This switch was likely done to make Faramir seem more sympathetic and complex, enhancing his character arc in the films. Next is number 19. Faramir and the Ring. In the movies, Faramir is shown struggling with his desire to prove his worth to his father by taking the ring to Minas Tirith. This creates a lot of tension and drama, as he nearly captures Frodo and Sam. Eventually, he lets them go, showing his inner strength. But in the books, Faramir never tries to take the ring. He even tells Frodo to keep it hidden and allows them to pass through Gondor freely. This major change added more conflict to the movie, making Faramir's character more dynamic and his redemption more impactful. And finally, at number 20, we have the Battle of Helm's Deep. Number 20. Only Rohan's aid at Helm's Deep. In the books, King Theoden gets help from a few other Rohan clans during this epic battle. But the movies add a dramatic twist, an alliance between men and elves. Haldir and a group of Lothlorien elves arrive to support Rohan, creating a spectacular and emotional moment. Although this is more of an addition than a cut, it's a significant change that heightened the intensity and drama of the battle, making it one of the most memorable scenes in the movies. And that's it for today's journey through the hidden details and deleted scenes from The Lord of the Rings. If you enjoyed discovering these secrets, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Secret Screen Stories for more fascinating insights into your favorite movies and series. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.